Kenya will establish a special division of the High Court to handle international criminal offences. According to Attorney General Professor Githu Muhigai, the special division will be created in a matter of weeks. Addressing a news conference, the Attorney General reaffirmed that Kenya continues to cooperate with the Hague-based court, contrary to assertions by the ICC prosecutor Fatou Bensouda. He added that Kenya will not unilaterally pull out of the ICC, saying it will await a decision to be made by the entire African Union.
The government of Kenya's position that the charges against the three suspects for crimes that fall within Kenya's criminal justice jurisdiction can and ought to be effectively prosecuted and adjudicated domestically. Kenya therefore reserves her right under the Rome Statute to demand complementarity from the ICC, and moving forward without prejudice to those ongoing cases, Kenya shall be engaging the ICC in seeking the handover of the investigation files, evidence, and other requisite information to support the preferring of charges and subsequent prosecution of the three persons locally. The government of Kenya welcomes the setting up of the International Crimes Division of the High Court, which the executive has been requesting for since 2012. This, in our view, will provide the framework to address all other outstanding cases.
Now, the High Court this morning started hearing a litigation case filed by 25 internally displaced persons with the assistance of 3 civil society organizations. This is a representative suit and covers all IDPs displaced during the 2007-2008 post-election violence in Eldoret, Kericho, Kisumu, Isiolo, Naivasha, Bungoma, Nakuru, Kisii, Trans Nzoia, Nyandarua, Meru, Mombasa, Nairobi, and Laikipia. The case, which was filed in 2011, has seen 6 witnesses testify on how the 2007-2008 post-election violence impacted negatively on their lives. The objective of this case is to establish that the government of Kenya violated its constitutional obligation to protect the citizens of Kenya during and after the violence. Let us now join our reporter, Michelle Ngele, who is at the High Court attending that hearing, to just give us an update of that case. Thank you very much for joining us, Michelle. And straight into it, has the hearing been concluded today?
Good afternoon, Akisa. The hearing for the day has already been concluded. We only had one witness taking the stand today, and that was one Dr. Dina Kitui, who is one of the less than 4 counseling trauma psychologists that we have in Kenya. Now, this is a psychologist that has been working closely with victims and IDPs from the 2007 and 2008 post-election violence. And going by her testimony today, many of these victims have suffered deep post-traumatic stress disorder as well as severe depression. And as much as this is a case against by internally displaced persons, Akisa, it is a representative case representing all victims of the post-election violence. And some of them were detailing today what they went through during the post-election violence, from victims of the sexual and gender-based violence to victims who lost their limbs, victims who lost their families. And many of them, according to this doctor, are on the brink of suicide, especially considering that trauma counseling or trauma treatment in Kenya is so expensive that a 2-hour session costs about 15,000 shillings. And so they're asking for compensation from the government to be able to continue with their treatment, even as they ask to be resettled as other displaced persons, Akisa.
Now, Michelle, what exactly are the petitioners seeking?
Well, Akisa, the petitioners are 25 internally displaced persons who are seeking compensation. In 2012, there was a fund that was availed to compensate IDPs, and according to that fund, each IDP was to get about 400,000 shillings, which was to help them restart a new life. But again, the government had stated that they had no intentions of compensating integrated IDPs. And these are IDPs that decided to flee and reintegrate themselves into society by staying with family or friends as they get back on their feet. And these IDPs are now saying that some of them have been given 10,000 shillings or 15,000 shillings, but they're questioning who exactly decides who is to get less money than the other. So they want the government to compensate all victims equally, and they do not want the discrimination with the government saying that they have already been integrated into society, and so they do not need the funds that the government has already given. And so now they want justice, and they say that they have hope and faith in the Kenyan